consisted of 4 key elements, which is WeChat official account, WeChat Pay, WeChat mini program, and Tencent Cloud, as well as the Tencent advertising solutions, which will be our key focus of for a brand to do your branding, your promotions, and your marketing events in China. Okay, so as Ian has introduced earlier, for social media we have QQ and WeChat as our hero products. So for social part, WeChat have covers 1.13 billion monthly active users, and for QQ we have 808 million monthly active users, consist of PC and mobile. And for WeChat mini program, which will be our main focus today, because in Q2 of this year, we have already have 200 million daily active users in mini program. And in terms of the total number of mini programs, we already have 1 million mini programs covering different categories. For example, Didi is just like Grab in Singapore, and OTA like Elong, Ctrip, and also all the tourism boards like Singapore tourism boards, Indonesia tourism boards, Dubai tourism boards, like Resorts World Sentosa, Changi airports have all launched their mini program within WeChat. We will share more case studies with you later. Yeah, and also for the media parts, we have Tencent Video, which is the #1 video platform by mobile daily active users, and also Tencent News. So our smart travel solutions actually covers both WeChat, QQ, and also the WeChat Pay and other utilities. Okay, so this is the number of WeChat. I'm not going to go through every details of the numbers. Okay, so here we have a video to show you how WeChat as a super app in China changed the daily life of Chinese users.
If you are sitting in the United States or Europe right now, you've probably never used a Chinese app. But the reality is, if you want to know how the internet will develop, China, the land once known for its cheap rip-offs, has actually become a guide to the future. So for Google, you had Baidu. For YouTube, you had Youku. For Twitter, you had Sina Weibo. And the list goes on and on. It's almost as if the Chinese internet is a lagoon as an aside to the greater ocean of the internet. And in that lagoon, there are these swamp monster apps that bear some resemblance to the creatures in the ocean, but are mutated in some ways because they evolved in a different kind of environment. But things have started to shift in the sense that before, no one outside of the lagoon really cared about the swamp monsters. But now, all of a sudden, some of the features they've developed are so amazing that Western apps are trying to copy them. And the greatest example of this is WeChat. WeChat is an example of, for lack of a better word, a super app. It's a Swiss Army knife that basically does everything for you. It's your WhatsApp, Facebook, Skype, and Uber. It's your Amazon, Instagram, Venmo, and Tinder. But it's other things we don't even have apps for. There are hospitals that have built out whole appointment booking systems. There are investment services. There are even heat maps that show how crowded a place is, be it your favorite shopping mall or a popular tourist site. The list of services goes on basically forever. But it's not the variety of things you can do on WeChat that makes it so powerful. It's the fact that they're all in one app. So why does that matter? Hypothetically, imagine you're sitting at home and one day you notice your corgi is dirty. You open WeChat, hit a few buttons, and a few hours later a man shows up at your door with some shampoo and a big vacuum. Your dog gets clean and he looks great. You take a photo, you share it with your friends, and tag the dog cleaning business. You haven't left the app. Your friend who likes Hello Kitty and works a boring office job is slacking off at work and looking at WeChat. She sees the photo of your clean corgi. She decides she wants her poodle clean. She clicks the tag on your photo and orders the same service. Within seconds, the man with the big vacuum is on his way to her house. She pays him, and he's happy because he got paid instantly on WeChat. She starts chatting with you to thank you. Neither of you have left the app. While chatting, she tells you about a new hip noodle joint. She says, you have to come. It's a schlep, but you accept. She orders food while still at her desk. You order a taxi. She pays for the food. On the way to her house, the man with the big vacuum invests the money he earned from both of you into a wealth management product that's probably a little too risky. Neither of you nor the man with the big vacuum have left the app. Both of you arrive and the app tells the kitchen you're there. Your WeChat profile photo pops up on the wall. It's an old photo from the year you had that weird part in your hair. Of course she makes a comment. Your food is served. You notice your meat is a bit overcooked, so you snap a photo and post a disparaging restaurant review. You're already on your phone and you remember you still owe your friend money because she paid to transfer her money. Neither of you, the man with the big vacuum, nor the restaurant, have left the app. At the restaurant, there are no menus, there are no waiters, there is no cashier. There is only WeChat. By rolling so many functions into one single app, it's altered the concept of virality. It's no longer just videos or images or tweets that can go viral. It's a dog washer, noodles, all sorts of companies and products that get the push of the social network. Here in China, that network is 700 million people. Sounds great, right? Well, it is, but using a single app to find a date, schedule an oil change, or notarize a document also enables WeChat to collect a staggering volume of personal data. They know what you talk about, who you talk about it with, what you read, where you go, why you're going there, who's there, how you spend money when you're online, how you spend money when you're offline. The list goes on indefinitely. So if you're not in China, why does this matter? It matters because we're starting to see a number of Western tech companies attempt to replicate super apps like WeChat. For the companies, it's incredibly powerful.
Thank you. Within this video, we have a number that 2 years ago, our data, our monthly active users of WeChat was still 700 million. But when it goes to Q2 of this year, the number is 1.13 billion. I will give you an example. My grandparents from both my mother's side and my father's side, 4 of them are already in their 70s and 80s. But because of the penetration of smartphone in China, so 4 of my grandparents are already on WeChat because it's so easy and convenient, even for the elder people, to use WeChat to connect with their grandsons. And this is a good example to show you that WeChat is actually very convenient, and everyone in China is using WeChat now. Yeah, and as a brand, how do we leverage WeChat ecosystem to reach and serve the Chinese consumers? So as we have mentioned, the 4 key elements of WeChat ecosystem is WeChat official account. So how many of your brands have already had a official account in China? Can I see your hands? Yeah, so we can see that, I will show you some examples later. For the travel industry, in Singapore we have tourism boards and also attractions. They have already launched their official accounts. And then for the WeChat Pay, and the third element will be mini program. If we have had these 3 elements ready, the last but not the least elements we can leverage is the social, WeChat social ads to help you amplify your brand awareness and also to drive traffic to your official account and the mini programs, etc., etc. Yeah, and here's the figures of official accounts. Actually, in China, not only brands, but also those media and key opinion leaders, which I think the concept is quite similar to Facebook or YouTube or Instagram brand channels. Yeah. So we can see that for WeChat official accounts, there are actually 2 kinds of WeChat official account. One is called service account, and the other one is subscription account. So we can see in the left-hand side, this is the homepage of your WeChat app. When you launch your WeChat app, you will see the chat list of you with your friends. And we can see that when we have a service account, actually most of the overseas business, you can only register your official account as a service account. So your service account will appear on the chat list, like the Tiffany, Agoda, the Viking Cruise. Your official account will appear on your chat list, just like a friend of you. And you can blast up to 4 blasts of posts per month. And in every blast, you can do 4 to 5 posts. And the right-hand side is an example of the Fuji Q. This is an article within their official account, and they can actually attach a mini program QR code in the WeChat official account article. And when users click on the mini program or the hyperlink, they will go to mini program directly. Here are some of the examples of the official accounts. The first one is Dubai Prison Board. So you can see that left page picture is their homepage, and then they have set up different menu bars and navigations. So for different functions. So when you click on the menus, you can go to your historical articles or go to the external website or mini program. This will be up to your objectives. And then the second one is Changi Airport. So they are similar to Dubai Prison Board. They have enabled their official account with a lot of functions like their loyalty program, etc., etc. And then the third one is Pan Pacific Hotel Group. We have people from Pan Pacific today. So this is actually a very good example of the hotel groups, like how do they leverage WeChat ecosystem to do brand and customer relationship management. Okay, and the second figure of WeChat ecosystem is WeChat Pay. I think some of you might find it very surprisingly, because in China, when you heard of mobile payments and so payment, you will be recalled our friend in Hangzhou, firstly, probably. But we have a new, most updated data that in terms of monthly active users and daily active users of mobile payments, WeChat has actually surpassed Alipay this year. So we have the #1 mobile payment in terms of monthly active users and daily active users. Also, we know that China users will use WeChat to do daily transactions and maybe send their friends red packets during the Chinese New Year. Okay, so here is an example of how WeChat Pay online works. For example, this is a mini program of Elong, and also Ctrip and also Airbnb have launched their mini program. So for example, I want to search a hotel in Singapore, so I go to the mini program of OTA, and I select the dates, and I pick the hotel, and I just finish the payment within WeChat without leaving the app. So the whole conversion path is actually very short and convenient. Users just need to enter the mini program, maybe by scanning the QR code, or maybe just by an entry point from your official account, and maybe a link shared by your friends. And you go into the mini program and just finish the purchase. And for the WeChat Pay offline, we can see that in Singapore, we have partnered with Changi Airport for their loyalty program and also iShop Changi program. So when Chinese users land at Changi Airport, they will see the billboard and promotion of Changi Airport with WeChat. And then we have also supported WeChat Pay in those offline merchants like Watsons and also Rebel Cities. And also when we go to Sentosa, we can use WeChat Pay to collect our vouchers and do more shopping within the theme park. Yeah, and also for mini program, I also know that some of you are already developing mini programs for your brands, and also our WeChat team has host a WeChat developer challenge in early October to enable Grab and Singapore Airlines and also those travel retail brands to develop their mini program. We know that mini program has skyrockets their number of daily active users to 200 million. Just imagine, one in 6 people in China are already using their mini program every day. For me, for example, I use Didi, just like Grab in Singapore, to call a taxi every day. And because I'm a frequent traveler, so I will use Ctrip and other OTAs to do online booking for hotels and for flights. But because Didi and also those OTAs launched their mini program version within WeChat, so I think more and more users are moving from the mobile app to mini programs. I also have made an interview with the Didi drivers, a lot of Didi drivers actually. I asked them a question do you know how many of your passengers are using mini program, and how much of them are still using the mobile app? And the answer is more and more users are now are using the WeChat mini program because it's quite convenient for them and they don't need to go out to call a taxi and then go back to WeChat, because everything can be finished only within one app. Yeah, and in terms of the number of mini programs, it's already 1 million, as I said, covered different categories of the industry. Okay, so here is a comparison of app, mini program, and HTML5 to help you understand the difference. So in terms of development cost, we can see like mini programs development cost is actually lower than an app. And also, most importantly, it actually enables similar capabilities and functional features with a mobile app, but it requires you a lower cost to acquire your new users. Because you know nowadays it's kind of very hard, and we also had like bottleneck to acquire new users when we are running like app downloads, campaigns, etc., etc. But just imagine within WeChat, when they need to use your app, they just click and use your app. When they don't need to use it, they just leave it here. So it's actually quite easy for you to adapt your new functionalities and to acquire more users with mini program. And also, when the users log into the mini programs, we can still require them to accept some T&Cs, and you can still obtain the user's information. So you don't need to worry about because it's a mini program, will you lose the user's information? So you can still use the mini program to collect their data information and to build a database. So here is a comparison of a stock app. On the left-hand side is the app, and the right-hand side is the mini program. We can see actually the interface and also the functionalities almost similar. Yeah, and here when we go to travel industry, here are some more examples of what they are doing on mini program. The first one is New Zealand tourism. Here is a ad called Experience New Zealand. So we can see they have a map, and also they have a in-trip audio guides and different recommendations. If you are interested, you can search New Zealand Tourism Board within WeChat. And the second one is Changi Airport's Changi Millionaire project of this year. Actually, Changi Airport has launched several mini programs. They have working with our team for their marketing and advertising events. So for this one is the Millionaire mini program. So when the Chinese users landed in Changi Airport, they can scan the QR codes. And also when they finish a purchase, they can see a QR code in every receipt. So the users can scan the receipt to enter the Changi Airport Millionaire program, and they have support different features like instant win. For example, you just input your information, your email address, and then you can have an instant lucky draw. So after instant lucky draw, you will be able to have a mini prize instantly. And then the other approach will be the mini program will accumulate your spending throughout the year. So at the end of the year, you will be able to accumulate your points and collect points, and you can win for the big prize at the end of the year. So there is actually a ranking of... Sorry. Okay, so maybe we'll just look at the right-hand side, which is not covered at this moment, which is the shopping mall launched by Paragon Shopping Mall. So this is a mini program for Chinese tourists. For example, they can do some inbound promotions when the users are still in China. So we can do some branding awareness campaign to let them know when you come to Singapore, there is a shopping mall called Paragon. And also when they are already arrived to Singapore, we can also run some outbound campaigns to reach this group of people when they are already in Singapore. Yeah, and the third one is launched by Resorts World Sentosa. Actually, Resorts World Sentosa have also developed several mini programs. One is their corporate mini program, and the other one is their royalty program. And this one is the most updated one, and I think it's the most often used one, which is developed by Tencent team and also Ma Feng Wo, and also our authorized payment agency in Singapore. So in the Resourceful Sentosa mini program, they actually enable like almost all the functions in Mafengwo. You know, Mafengwo is one of the most famous travel recommendation website and also OTA website in China. So when users using this Resourceful Sentosa, they can actually do online ticketing and to book the hotels in Resourceful Sentosa and to see the restaurant recommendations, etc. And the fourth one is the Shangri-La Hotel mini program. So users can do they can do their pre-trip online booking through this mini program as well. Okay, so this is the more detailed illustration of the New Zealand tourism pre-trip mini program. Actually, if you do a search on mini program on our WeChat search bar with 旅游局 Tourism Board, you can find like Singapore tourism and New Zealand and also like Finland, Dubai. A lot of national tourism board and also state tourism board have launched their mini program. Before a pre-trip, they want to like help the potential those audience who have the intent to come to Singapore to do their pre-trip itinerary planning. And during the trip, they can use the mini program to improve the in-trip experience, because you know to target the Chinese audience, one of the biggest challenge will still be language. So how do we leverage mini program to do maybe a real-time translation, and how do we use the mini program to show there the map and do like some in-trip tips will be quite important. So for the New Zealand tourism mini program, we have a video. They have like in-stream video to show very exciting sceneries in New Zealand, and also they have a wish list, so users can select what kind of attractions they would want to go when they are visiting New Zealand, and also have a map and destination and the routes, etc., etc. And when they have, after they have get the mini program ready, they also launch the WeChat moment ads to target their right audience and to drive traffic to this mini program. Yeah, and the second one will be Pan-Pacific Group's mini program. So the mini program is actually when we go to the homepage, we can see that the mini program is actually for their group for different countries and regions. So when we go to the homepage, we can select the countries and or region you are going to visit. For example, I select Singapore, and I can see all the Pan-Pacific hotels in Singapore. And then we can see, when we scroll down, we can see the restaurant vouchers, and you can pick the vouchers here, and when you go to the hotel, you can use the voucher. And then, as I said, one of the biggest challenges that Chinese users are facing is the language. And also, this is not only the Chinese users' challenge, it's also the hoteliers' challenge. So Pan Pacific is really, I think they are really considerate. They include an address card in the mini program. So when they when they have a taxi, they can just show the address card to the taxi driver, and to avoid them go to the like wrong hotel. And also the fourth one, when they arrive at the hotel, they can also open the mini program to see the route and map to see if there is any good restaurants or any funny things around them. Yeah, and this one is for Resourceful Sentosa. So here is more like detailed introduction. On the homepage, we can see some featured promotion and some key promotion. For example, now they have Halloween in Resourceful Sentosa. So when they go to, they actually have their official account, articles, and also the moment ads and different resources to bring in traffic to the Halloween campaign. And also they enable the hotel booking function in this mini program. Also the online ticketing to those scenery spots. So this online ticketing function are available no matter when you are still in China or you already arrived in Singapore. So you can just go to the mini program and buy the tickets. and use WeChat Pay to finish the payments. And then we also have the map function within the app. So if you have Wi-Fi or if you have network, you can use the mini program. If you don't have, you can download the map to your album. And the last part is the user reviews. So they also collected those users' reviews. So it will make your mini program like more organic and have more like positive testimonial from the users. Okay. Yeah. So this is actually a prototype for smart travel mini programs. We know that more and more nomadic tourism boards or attractions and also maybe hotels, our team will be able to help you to include like AI functions, the AI chatbot to your mini program. So here is actually an example. You can tailor-make your brand's mini program with your subject to your marketing objective and KPIs. Okay, so last but not least, we also have our advertising solutions. When you have your official account ready, your WeChat Pay ready, your mini program and cloud function ready, you will also need to like help your brand to increase your awareness and also to bring more traffic in. So Tencent's social advertising solutions actually covered almost all of these platforms. For example, for the social part, we have WeChat and QQ and Qzone and Moments, etc., etc. We mainly have two platforms to access to all of these inventories. The first one is called AMP, which is the WeChat advertising platform, and the second one is called GDT. It's like a Tencent's ad network. It's quite similar to Google Display Network, so you can use the GDT to access to like QQ and QQ Video for those massive and diversified ad inventory. But in today's workshop, we will mainly focus on WeChat, the more premium and more focused inventory of travel industry. Yeah, so this is also some figures. Like we know that one of the key factors that affect China users' decision making is their friends and their families. Because according to Nielsen's and Ipsos research, your friend's opinion and your family's opinion will affect your decision making. Like because we only have like 10 days of annual leave per year, it's very hard for me to make a decision which destinations I'm going to visit in my next trip. So my friends and my family's opinion will also affect me a lot. So in WeChat, we browse the WeChat Moments and we see an ad from a tourism board that will help me to have impressions on your destinations and help me to make the decision for my next trip. Yeah. So in terms of the ad inventory, actually there are three ways to reach our users. For WeChat, our ad inventories will be divided into three key categories. The first one is inbound parts, which means when to reach users when they are still in mainland China. So for example, I'm living and based in Shenzhen for most of the time. So the system will define me as the inbound users. And then when I arrive to Singapore, and for example, if I stay in Singapore less than 15 days, the system will define me as the outbound travelers. So I will be able to receive those ads from maybe Changi Airport, from Resource World Sentosa. And then for maybe most of you guys, and when you are living in Singapore in a long-term base, or maybe I stay in Singapore more than 15 days, so the system will define me as a Singapore local users. Yeah, so do we have any question here? Okay. So as we know, most of the Chinese users are very well planned and very well organized. So it's very important for us to reach them and to influence them earlier. So for example, for the pre-trip period, how do we influence those inbound users? We can target those travelers who has previously traveled to Singapore. We do have those data, and we can use that data to predict and to do a targeting to see who are most likely to travel to Singapore in the near future. And also we can target those affluent users in Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities who has like higher consumption power and who have used to live in like 4 stars or 5 stars hotels previously. Those people will be like more possible to go to your hotel next time. And when it's outbound, when they have already are visiting the Singapore, we can use outbound inventory to target them and to remind them to go to your destination or your restaurant. And when they come back to China, we can use our inbound ad and also retargeting to retouch this group of people and to remind them to come to Singapore next time. So this is also a data showing that when compared with United States, China users are actually more like affected by social media and also the online reviews for their decision making. Okay, so these are some very basic targeting capabilities of WeChat ad. So we can do like demographic targetings to use age, gender, education, degrees to do the targetings, and also the environment, interest, also their behaviors and OA type, etc., etc. So we actually have 2 types of targeting. One is called basic targeting. So it's just very similar to Facebook or GDN. When you go to the ad manager, you can select the targeting type and also the interest that you want to use to target your target audience. And then in addition, if you're working directly with the Tencent team, we will be able to offer a advanced targeting to you. For example, we can help you to do a data digging to find out those who have, as I said, who have come to Singapore in the past 12 months and who maybe are living in a high-class residential area, etc., etc. So we'll help you to like better reach your target audience with a more accurate and precise targeting. Yeah, and here is the introduction of WeChat Moment ads. So how many of you have already received a WeChat Moment on your mobile phone? Yeah, so I think for the WeChat Moment ads, we in mainland China only every users will only receive 2 to 3 times of moment ads per day on their moments. Actually, WeChat Moments is quite similar to Facebook newsfeed or Instagram newsfeed. It's just like the ad will appear just like a organic content originated by their friends. Also, in WeChat Moments, it's unsimilar to Facebook because Facebook, when you follow an official brand page of a brand, when they do organic posts or paid posts, you will see a lot of posts from the brands, which is quite overwhelming. And WeChat, we do take care of the user's experience, and also we take care of the brand's benefits. So we only allow 2 to 3 moment ads per day maximum. And also, the post can also be liked and commented by you and also by your friends. And for the formats, we can support image, text, and videos. And also we have some very fantastic special execution. I will show you more examples later. Yeah, so how will users see a WeChat Moment ad? So when you scroll down your WeChat Moments, you will see the ad appear on the 4th or the 2nd position of your moment, and then it will be synced down like a organic and a normal post. And then when your friend, because if you have liked or commented this post, and then you left WeChat Moments, but if your friends like or comments the post again, the ad again, and the system will send you a reminder, and you will be able to see the ad again for free. And if a users you saw the ad but you did nothing with the ads will disappear automatically. So we will only charge you when the ad is served, and only when you are interactive with the ads. There are several pricing models we can select from the back end. It can be like CPM or CPC. Okay. So So here are some different ad formats of WeChat Moments. One is like regular ads and also basic card ads, and we can do some selective card formats on WeChat. For some of the like special execution ad formats, we will require 1 million RMB per campaign as the minimum buy. Yeah. Yeah. So here is an example of how Hilton Resorts and Hotel leveraged WeChat Moment ads. So here is their Chinese New Year campaign. So when we first launched the add someone to engage function, so Hilton have an ad copy say you need to add your boss to let him know that I'm actually on CNY holidays. Please don't text me during my holidays. So it's actually quite interesting when it's launched. People will try to add their friends, their boss. So they actually the ad have actually generated very high engagement rate when compared with the benchmark of the industry. But a good news is like add someone function is not new. It's not like no longer new. So we do not require the 1 million minimum buy as the entry level for this ad format. So all the brands, all the hotels, or all the tourism boards can leverage the FM function at this moment. Okay, and here is another example of how do we use WeChat ads to help you acquire loyal followers. So you can see that the first screen is actually official account articles of it's actually of other brands. For example, a key opinion leader who are writing travel or lifestyle related articles, which is highly relevant to your brand or to your industry. So when you select like travel or lifestyle as your interest, so your ad will appear on their official account articles. So just imagine your target audience are reading an article, and when they finish reading the article, they will see an ad at the bottom of the article, and then they can click the banner to go to your official account and follow your official account. The other manner is the WeChat Moment ad. Actually, we have several available ad formats to help you to acquire fans, but this one click to follow ad is the most effective ad formats in terms of driving followers. Okay. Yeah, and here are some other banner formats, available banner formats within the official account. So we can see a lot of tourism boards like Indonesia, Finland, Norway, and Sweden have deployed the WeChat official account banner to help them feature the excellent views of their country or the destination. Okay, so basically we have finished the introduction of the Tencent ecosystem. So I have my first question here. Can you name some of the key functions of mini program? Anyone would like to give a try? If you can answer me 3 key functions of a WeChat mini program, you can win the first limited edition astronaut QQ. Who you give a try?
WeChat try?
Yeah, please.
So
sorry.
you can do feature promotions on it.
Yeah.
Do booking, ticketing features, contact card,
Yeah,
apps,
cool. Yeah.
and locations on it.
Yeah, cool. So you will have our first astronaut QQ. Congratulations. Thank you. So you have fun. Thank you. Okay, then we will go to our third session of how do we penetrating the user journey with the above introduced elements of Tencent ecosystem. So for the pre-trip part, we will introduce more, like how do we leverage our ecosystem to reach your target audience precisely and to facilitate their dreaming, planning, and the booking stage. And the second part will be in-trip, like how do we provide best travel and shopping experience to the on-the-ground tourists. We have already talking to the Singapore Tourism Board team for their travel innovation group and also for their travel visitor experience group. for how to improve their mini program. So we have actually like brainstormed a lot of insights together, which I think it will be quite applicable to all of the travel industry players. And for the post-trip part, it will be like how do we using Tencent Cloud and the Tencent Big Data capabilities to help you generate insights of your previous campaign, and how do we have like actionable insights for our future marketing promotions. So this is a very typical model of how we do reach the users from dream, plan, book, and travel, and also to the advocate period. We know that in China, especially in travel industry, you will be heard about Ctrip and also other OTAs and also other travel verticals. But it's quite important to know that when the users are already in Ctrip or in Mafeng, they might be already in the plan or booking stage because they have already made their mind, or they have had some initial idea of what countries I'm going to visit this year in summer holiday, in Golden Week, or in Chinese New Year. So as a social media, it's actually, I think our role will be more likely to touch the audience in the dream period. But for sure, we are not only play our role in the dream period, we can also help you to retarget the users and help you to convert the users to do planning and booking, as well as the advocate, because I think, I must say 100% of the users will post their photos, and when they are in Singapore or maybe after the trip, they will share their photos to Moment Ads, and maybe that will be a good way to advocate the users, and their posts will also affect their friends or families. Okay, so this is also an integrated strategy for us, how do we use technology and AI, and how do we use WeChat Pay, how do we use Tencent brand solutions and the ecosystem to influence our users in the before trip, in trip, and the post trip stages. So we can see that in the first stage, before trip, we can use, actually Tencent, our technology and the AI are more integrated to our mini program. So we can use the technology in the mini program to do reservation, and we can do trip schedule and itinerary planning before trip. And in trip, we can use AI, facial recognition, etc., to do check-in and also navigation, and also heat map analysis. And we can also use intelligence customer support like AI chatbots to improve our in-trip experience. And for the post-trip part, we can use Tencent Cloud or our big data solutions to help you do social monitoring and public opinion monitoring to generate insights, as I said. So for the WeChat Pay part, before trip, it will be mainly for booking part, like how do we book a flight, hotel, and attraction tickets. And the in-trip part will be in-trip purchase, for the shopping and transportations when we are traveling abroad. And for the Tencent brand solutions, which is mainly for the advertising part, I'm not going to go into the to go through every details because it's quite similar and familiar to all the marketers. It's how do we reach them before trip, and how do we use location-based targeting when they are in Singapore, and do retargeting after the campaign. So and the WeChat official account in the ecosystem will be more for you can use the official account articles to give more informative content to your audience and to do customer relationship management. Yeah, so here's more information and more introduction of the pre-trip part. Yeah, so here is a campaign we have been working with Singapore Tourism Board this year for their thematic post-90s campaign. So for this campaign, they have leveraged the WeChat Moment Ads and also the Tencent video ads to help them feature their thematic this year. So the left-hand side is the interactive WeChat Moment Ads. So this video ads has actually just been ranked into the top 10 favorite WeChat moment ads in Q3 2019, which is the top 10 like popular ads among all the industries, not only for the travel industry. And the right-hand side is their cooperation with the KOL in China called Papi, and they have helped them to shoot a video and put on Tencent video. So you can check more details here. So it's when we see the outside, it's actually
旁
a
边站才能遇见硬核派对最嗨点。
it's actually a static picture outside of the outer layer of the WeChat moment ad. So you can see there is a no, a Chinese character of no, and you will need to put your finger and you swipe the image to complete the Chinese character of no, and then you will go to the landing page of this ad. So because the theme and also the topic of this campaign is to tell the Chinese post-90s like not to follow those most recommended destinations, those well-planned itinerary, but just come to Singapore and to see what kind of wonderful things you will be encountering or you will experience in Singapore. So here is a campaign to target those digital savvy users in China. So they have actually generated 13.8% engagement rate, which doubles the travel industry engagement rate. Yeah. And the right-hand side is their cooperation with Tencent Video. They have shoot a